our philosophy was, look, I don't necessarily care what your grades are, but what I do care is the effort that we see you putting in. So if one gets straight A's, but the other one gets A's and B's, if they both gave their best effort, then we're okay with that. And so, but if one gets a B and he shouldn't have gotten an A, I say he because they're both boys, then we're like, hey, listen, what's this B all about?
Also, I think what's worked for us is that when report cards come in, it's not just mom, dad looking at the report cards. Everyone sits and has a family, like, all right, show me yours. Everybody puts their report card on the table. And
competition, baby.
Everybody's looking at each other. So it creates not just competition. I think it also creates a support system as well. And also, good. No one's embarrassed. You know, it's like, hey, you got a C, bro. No one's embarrassed. You got a D? Dude, look, what do we got to do to help you as a unit to help you fix that D? So our experiment has worked.
Welcome to the Family Office. Planning for the people who matter most.
Awesome. Hey, it is August 5th. Len, can you believe it's August 5th already?
This year has gone by fast, not let alone just the month of July flew by. But man, it's crazy how quickly things are going, just like that.
Like that. And it was a birthday month for me and my wife, and we didn't even do anything exciting. That's how crazy this year has been, like lightning fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of August birthdays. I think if you go back 9 months, it was cold times. People needed to warm up, and all the August babies. So shout out to all the August birthdays out there, including my wife's is on the 16th, by the way.
Oh,
and my son's on the 29th. So 9 months. The same thing is true.
It's a very busy month.
It's a very busy month. Yeah.
My youngest daughter's birthday is this month on the 9th, August 9th.
Oh, wow.
Yep, August 9th, 2019. I can't even believe it. That was like my COVID child.
She's
I raised
a COVID
that child.
Baby. That's right.
Well, I mean, she was born before COVID, but I was
right
with her
that time.
In the beginning, you know, because I pretty much raised her the first couple of years because I was able to stay at home and run meetings at home and stuff like that. So, I mean, not that I don't stay at home now, but during that time, you know, that chaotic time, which, by the way, there's chaos happening right now that you and I both used to go to at this time. It's actually happening this week. If you check your social media. So
I already know exactly what you're talking about. That's an insider.
Interesting times. But welcome back with us here today, guys. Glad you guys could join us. We're having another insightful conversation. And as always, we're glad you guys could take some time to watch us or join us. We got a really cool lineup today. We got some really focused points that we're going to talk about and a couple wild card things as well. Before I go into that, anything exciting or anything like that going on this week, Len, I'll open up for you. It is back to school week for me. I may or may not have shared that already, but it is back to school week officially next week on Wednesday. So I'm going to road trip my kids back from California. But interestingly enough, this was the first year I did school re-enrollment in like the last 4 years, because up until then, my executive assistant always did it for me. But we transitioned a few things this year, and I ended up doing it this year, and it was just absolutely chaos. I have so much respect for parents that go through all that, because I have 5 kids in 5 different schools. I have university, high school, middle school, and in Texas, they have another one before middle school called intermediary, and then I have kinder through 5th. So it's just absolutely bonkers, but it's a joy to see that. But to see the school process from a parental perspective that I haven't seen that in depth in the last 4 or 5 years, it's definitely an eye opener. It took me a whole week to do it.
Especially for kids who transition from elementary to middle school, because that's the first time where they're moving from class to class. And you have all of these kids that are like, where do I go? Where is this class? And it's absolute chaos. So I definitely remember those days for sure.
Anything exciting or new going on in your area? I know besides the fact that you're in California, and there's something always new and exciting going on in California. You never know. It's like waking up every day and waiting for the shoe to drop, the next shoe to drop anyways.
Well, my son, who happens to be in New York, he just got a promotion at his job. And so he got a 10% raise. And so my son, who is not even 26, is already in the 6-figure range. So I'm excited for him. So that's awesome.
When did you hit 6 figures for the first time in your life, when did you hit that?
I was 32. Wasn't until 32, man. So he beat me by 7 years almost. That's
Holy
exciting, man.
moly.
That's exciting. I love that.
Well, interestingly enough, now that you brought that up, I had a moment last Friday, and I can share this with you because you're an academic, and for most people that don't know this, you'll find out eventually. But this man here has 2 masters and a PhD. Most people don't even get a master's. He had to go and get 2, and then he went, well, I'm done with that master stuff. I got to get a PhD on top, which is pretty impressive for someone who has not even a bachelor's. Okay.
Bro, that just means I spent too much time in schooling and too much money on that education. So that's all that is.
Well, I mean, yes, I can. For someone who doesn't have it, I'll leave it at that for you.
I mean, it has open doors. I'm not going to lie, but it took a long time and a lot of money. So,
well, I'm sure you'll still appreciate this. I was registering, obviously, my oldest son for high school, and he had a 4.0 straight last year or last few years. But going into high school, as I was registering him, I was in the parent portal, and it said, hey, you have agreements to sign. So I'm going off and signing, the agreements and stuff like that. And then there's one in there for AP honors. And my oldest son, his freshman year, was selected. I had to sign agreements, and he had to sign agreements. I never knew you had to sign agreements. I didn't know that was a thing. He had to, and I had to sign it. He has honors AP in all classes this year.
What? That is amazing. That's amazing.
I was
he could get a 5.0 GPA this year. Do you know that? Because every AP class you have, you get an extra point if you get an A. So an A is 5 points, a B is 4 points, C 3 points, so on and so forth. So
that's what it means when it says double credits, or is that college when it says double credits? Because it says these classes will apply for double credits. What does that mean?
I think what it means, and don't quote me, but I think it means that it'll apply for both high school and college credits at the same time, because advanced placement is essentially a college level course. So if, let's say he decides to go to a junior college to save money, then he could actually get an AA if he has enough of those courses. Or when he goes off to college, oftentimes those courses will count towards his early academic classes, so like his general education classes. So he could actually get through college sometimes faster, and that could be less money out of your pocket, especially when you look at all the kids that you have. That might save you some money.
Now, if they can all follow that record.
That part.
I thought you'd be interested to know that, because I didn't think you could get all that in all periods. And his schedule, I sent a screenshot of his schedule in our family group chat. And at the end of each class, it says HAP or APH after each period. And I'm like, do you guys see the significance of AHP after all of them? I'm going, holy moly, or
that's
HAP,
a big deal.
however it was written.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
I was very proud. And we're having the conversation, and he goes, what should I do, Dad? And I said, and I just, you tell me what I should do. And I said, look, it's going to be a lot of extra work and a lot. And you're playing soccer and all these things you want to do. I said, but I think it's going to get you that edge, and you're getting that edge early. You're able to compound that effect going into freshman year because of the work you did the last couple of years. Take advantage of that compound now, because it's like you just said, he's going to be so much more further ahead. I didn't even know you could get a 5.0 just by getting all those classes like that.
Now, overall, of course, he won't get a 5.0, but for that particular semester or year, no doubt. And the other thing that I look at it is, it's not just getting the grades, but it's the discipline that he develops over the course of, studying, when his friends are out partying and hanging out, and he's making those sacrifices. So it also teaches deferred gratification. It teaches him leadership. It teaches him discipline, effort, all of those things, setbacks, because it's going to be tough. But if he's able to overcome that, then going into his freshman year, because what happens is a lot of times when kids go into college their freshman year, they have this freshman dip because they're just not used to the rigor of college. So he'll be ahead of the game for sure.
Well, what's interesting about it is the fact that this has been an experiment for the last 15, 16 years for us, for Mary and I, in that we are very laissez-faire and when it comes to academics with our kids. The standard is all we care about is your grades. I don't care about anything else. I don't care what you do, how you do it, when you do it. All I care about, and this has all been our perspective since day one with all of our kids, is just get good grades because it's the only thing you have to do. That's your job right now as a child, right? Outside of that, if you want to go out and hang out, you want to party, you want to ride your bike, you want to play games, you want to sleep till 12 o'clock, I don't care. Because when that report card comes in, that report card there better be nothing less than a B. That's the standard. That was always the standard. So to see that experiment working now and to see how independently, I can't remember the last time I've ever done homework with my kids. I mean, maybe like grade 1 through 5, but it's been a very hands-off experiment, and it's created a lot of independent critical thinking and study for my kids all the way. And even now I'm starting to see the same types of habits in, like my 10-year-old. I certainly see it in my 13, who's right behind Emery, but I'm starting to see that now in my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old as well, where they're starting to go, dang, these kids are very independent and they know how to get the job done at school without being a helicopter mom or dad. Interesting, huh?
That's a big deal because a lot of parents have to spend lots of time with their kids. And, even for me, my wife and I spent a lot of time with one of our kids because, each of them requires different level of efforts, right? And so for us, our philosophy was, look, I don't necessarily care what your grades are, but what I do care is the effort that we see you putting in. So if one gets straight A's, but the other one gets A's and B's, if they both gave their best effort, then we're okay with that. And so, but if one gets a B and he shouldn't have gotten an A, I say he because they're both boys, then we're like, hey, listen, what's this B all about? And so, but through the process of those expectations, because those expectations were ingrained, really never had to enforce that philosophy because it just happened because the expectation was there all the time. So.
Of course, the dynamic's different with you. I mean, how far apart are your two sons? Are Jahid? How?
They're 2.5 years apart.
Okay. So for me, I have a tribe. So, I mean, I have a 6-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, and then 13, 14, 18, so on and so forth, right? So to explain that and to see that, what's also, I think what's worked for us is that when report cards come in, it's not just mom and dad looking at the report cards. Everyone sits and has a family, like, all right, show me yours. Everybody puts their report card on the table. And
competition, baby.
Everybody's looking at each other. So it creates not just competition. I think it also creates a support system as well. And also, good. No one's embarrassed. It's like, hey, you got a C, bro. No one's embarrassed. You got a D? Dude, look, what do we got to do to help you as a unit to help you fix that D? So our experiments has worked
a
little bit so far.
That's good.
We're getting some validation.
I love it, man. So earlier you said that, if they get below an A or a B, you're not feeling so good about that. So when they do get that C or D, how do you and Mary confront that as parents?
Well, what's interesting is you get progress reports, right? So as things start to go on, you get these progress reports, you start to see what's going on. So if we see that, obviously everyone's be involved in that. It's going to be like, hey, for example, Emery, what's going on? You got a B right now, like a low B, or like you're close to the C threshold. Like what's happening here? Oh, I fell behind or something. And what can we do as a family to come together and help you? It's not a shameful experience or, oh my God, what are you doing? There's none of that ever happens around any of that stuff. It's like, hey, what happened? Hey, own it. Hey, what can we do as a unit to help you? If you need the unit, if you don't need the family unit to help you, and you're like, hey, I'm good. I know where I screwed up. I don't need to process it. I've got it. I'll clean it up. And then it gets cleaned up. You're right. Then you see that in the next progress report or ultimately the final grade book. But before that, if it is, hey, I screwed up, I need help with this, then everybody comes together or whoever can help him with that steps in and helps him with that. I remember one time, my son William was like atrocious. We were like, what is going on here? And he was like all C's and D's and he was behind on assignments. We all got together one weekend, pulled it all out and said, okay, you help him with this, you help him with this, you help him with this. And we all came together as a family to help him. And that was the last time, I want to say that was like a year and a half ago. That was the last time we ever had to do anything like that for any of our children. And it's just been kind of like, we've been very blessed and very lucky with it.
That's very cool. I know this topic is totally off of what we talked about that we were going to talk about, but as parents, man, that's the reality is, hopefully there's some other parents out there that have kids that are listening to this and can get some nuggets from this conversation, because when you talk about excelling in elementary, middle, and high school, then you're talking about college. So my question to you is there's this transition that's taking place as it relates to the necessity for college, right? So when we grew up, it was, hey, you better go to college, better get those good grades. And if you didn't, there was something going wrong there. So what's your philosophy, and what's your family's philosophy, or you and Mary's philosophy about sending your kids to college and the importance of it, considering the fact that both of you are entrepreneurs? In my household, I'm the entrepreneur, but my wife loves being a school psychologist. And so we have different philosophies. So what's yours?
Well, interestingly enough, we were just talking about this. Mary's 45 and I'm 44. So we were in that generation where we had baby boomer parents, and baby boomer parents, I think, raised children a lot differently. And it's a different dynamic, but at any rate, college was still important. Both my parents were college educated. In fact, my dad finished college when he finished high school and was enlisted in the military. Like, it was crazy how far advanced he was as an academic. And my mom has a bachelor's in business from a community college in New York. So for Mary and I, she doesn't have a degree, I don't have a degree, but we were both professionals. She was a professional in the mortgage industry, and I was a professional in the entertainment industry. And for us, we didn't ever hold those. I only have ever held two W-2s. Only have held two W-2s. But moving forward, in our philosophy today, it's very simple. It's you either go to college or you figure out what type of business you want to start, and we'll help you, seed capital that business if you choose to become an entrepreneur. That's it. You're going to do something, but we're not rushed with it. So I think most people are eager, or I don't want to say most people, I'd say I've heard or seen a lot of parents are eager to get their kids, you got to start working and supporting yourself and paying rent and all that stuff at 18, and you got to move out, or you got to do this and this. We are not of that belief. If you have to stay in my house until you're 25, 28, I don't care. It's the main reason why we're looking for 20 acres and wanting to do a compound. I don't want my kids to feel the stress pressure of having to make a decision and figure out what they want to do immediately when they get out of high school. But you got to know, hey, are you going to college, or do you want to start a business, or do you want to work? What are they? Ultimately, the path to work either leads to college or leads to a business, but you've got to pick one of those two paths. That's pretty much our philosophy.
I like that.
And they all know it.
And that's good that you ingrained that philosophy, because now they understand what the expectation is. And so it was a very interesting time, because with my kids, it was really a transition, because I transitioned from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur. And so with that shift, my philosophy shifted as well. And so we always ingrained in our kids, hey, you go to school, you get good grades so you can get a good job and have a good retirement. And I started to see that there were some flaws in that belief. And so my shift and transition was, look, as parents, we're going to find out what you're naturally more inclined to do. What are your skills? What are your gifts? And what are your talents? And it's our role as parents to drive you in that direction. So for my younger son, he's more into technology. And so we, gave him coding classes and put him in, he went to Harvard for, online, and, he took the class and he figured it out on his own. And so our older son is more of a people person. And so he's going into the field of counseling. And so my younger son will probably eventually work on his own, because he's preparing himself to transition when that time comes. And the older son, he'll probably be a career, counselor, but he also does coaching and basketball, drills and things like that on the side. So they'll both probably be entrepreneurs, one full-time, but one having side hustles.
It's interesting, because none of my kids see me work for someone. They all see me as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. But my 18-year-old daughter really saw the struggle. Out of any of my kids, she saw what it was like for us to be broke. like broken, like destitute, like what is happening right now?
Yes. Entrepreneurship broke is much different. We talked a little bit about that before, but being able to get to the other side of it, that's really what the separator is. I think most people who go into entrepreneurship, it's a sexy idea to be able to work on your own, to be your own boss. But the reality is most people sign up for just having their job become their boss, and they don't really get true freedom. And so I'm really glad to see that you were able to burst through the whole idea of just working for someone else, going through the struggle, and being able to come on the other side and actually be free and have your time back.
I think the transition ultimately comes down to the fact that you can't just be in love with the romanticism of the entrepreneur life and being an entrepreneur. You know, what you see on social media, you actually have to be in love with the nasty, ugly, disappointing, being let down effects and path you have to cross through. And I think this was a very productive conversation today. I think it was. I think we got a lot covered. I think that we have a lot of questions that are still unanswered, and I think we could go further with it, a few different things, but
I hope that all of you that were watching got value from this, and we're going to continue to get better every single week. We're going to continue to come with more information and more perspective. And so our outcome is to make sure that as you're watching this, that you learn about financial matters, that you learn about healthcare matters, that you learn about health matters, and you get a little smarter from learning about two different opposing viewpoints as it relates to current events. And so with that being said, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and we'll continue to give information and continue to grow. So with that being said, take care, everybody. Until next time.
See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.